You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
We'll ask, Lori is official now. She passed all her background checks, all her credit checks. She submitted the right amount of paperwork. She paid us appropriately. She's now ready to go. So we'll do the pledge, and Lori Raviola will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Lori. Close.
I did. How do you say? Like almost like ravioli. Are you working Oh. Nice.
Okay. I'm going to ask that we postpone for March 26th and April 2nd. Oh, God, I'm going to give you we just got that. But we can move forward with the consent agenda.
What about the non-public?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? All in favor? Aye.
He posted on the approval of the grants.
So if you can,
I did. I'll be second and I'll leave him on.
if you can review that for next week, then we'll do it next week. Public input, right at the top.
Oh, good. May I?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not sure with the
Sit
echo.
right there.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure that I forgot to put my hearing aids in, so this might help. Hi, welcome and
Do
congratulations.
you want to come right up here? I'll move your chair over here then with us. Are you all right? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
I was dealing with Alex
We just
Roque.
need your name for the record and
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Jane Kennedy. I live at 210 Sotheby's Crossing Road. And I was dealing with Alex Roque about 3 weeks ago. This was after another car went through my fence. And so I was talking to him about what we might do. This is the 4th time in 30 years. And it's always at night. And it's always someone who is either impaired or not paying attention. This particular time, the individual was very responsible, showed up the next morning. The policeman will appreciate this. He didn't stay there that night. He just, I don't know how he got his car out of his truck. No idea what the amount of damage he did. So in talking to Alex, who I think is pretty experienced, he said there was one, we don't know what the state is going to do. And I wrote a letter to the state, and Alex said to bring it to him, and he would forward it to the state, asking for some sort of one of those signs that is reflective with the big arrows. As Alex said, it will depend on the amount of traffic, it depends on a lot of things. But there used to be an island there. The state took the island out so that cars would turn at the end of Matthews Road and turn to the right or turn to the left. That island is no longer there, and it hasn't been there for the last 3 accidents, or the last 3 times we've had the fence taken down, and shrubbery and so forth and so on. So I know that you're new, and I know that you're going to have to get caught up and whatnot. I did have John, my landscape guy, came down, and he's going to give me an estimate for putting up something that a car will not be able to go through. So we're discussing that. However, Alex did have a very good idea. There are stop signs, and there's a stop sign right at the end of Matthews Road. It's there. I mean, you can see it during the day, but he said there were those that were reflective. And he thought that might not be a bad idea to replace the one that's there with one that's reflective. This would at least help a little bit. So I'm just kind of trying to get our new town administrator, Lori, up to speed. Again, there's a lot going on, and you've got got a lot to take care of. And I apologize for not sending in the form, but I did email and I didn't get any response, so I thought I'll just come on up and see what's happening. You have not heard anything from the state, correct?
Correct. There was discussion with DPW, Joe DeRusso.
I'm sorry?
There was discussion with the DPW director, Joe DeRusso.
No.
No, there was. No, I'm saying there was.
Oh.
And they're gonna put in a white line. And so
Okay.
we can talk with him with regard to putting in a reflective
Okay,
sign.
that I think would be of help. Again, it's 4 times in 30 years. It's not like it happens every other weekend, but there's more traffic now, there's more stuff going on now. My neighbors who have been cleaning up along their property line say that 90% of what they're picking up is alcohol. So, you know, I don't get too much in the way of trash. I just kind of wanted to say hi, and could something be done? I have not received an estimate from John Lessing yet as to what we think we're going to do. I would prefer the state did something, if at all possible. It would be really nice to have one of those, you know, signs at the end of a T intersection. Nice and, you know, with blink when the lights hit it, you know, okay?
One approach you can take, the District 4 office,
Yeah, that's who I wrote to.
but have you stopped in?
No, I haven't.
You may try
I know
that
that.
approach.
Okay, they're there during the day?
They're there during the day, and it's Frank L.
Okay, now
I
I
won't
know
try to
there's.
pronounce his last name,
Yeah,
it's worse than
I
mine.
remember writing it out, it's very, very long. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote to him, I don't know whether Alex ever forwarded that, but
I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did because he seems very efficient, very knowledgeable. So, you know, so, okay. All right, so you suggest that I stop in there, I can do that.
For that part, and for our part, we'll talk with Joe DeRusso about the reflective sign.
Okay,
And when the crosswalk lights go in on Matthews Road this summer, that's when he plans to do the striping for the
Okay.
stop
okay.
line.
I know that they have signs, I know they have stop signs where there's electricity that have the white light, that have the lights around them, but that's another whole issue because you have to make, there's no real plug in there, you know. Okay,
Yep,
all right, okay.
good job.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Well, I talked to Jim about this because I thought Alex did such a great idea. Great help. Okay, thank you. All right. So, and thank you for taking me first. Nice to meet you.
So just one comment to make Jane feel really good.
Oh, good.
So my fence had, I think it was 12 people went through it in a 10-year period,
Oh, wow.
okay?
Much more.
Yeah. I went to the state to see if they would put up a guardrail and signage, and I was denied, so that's the bad part of it.
Yeah.
I put my own Chevron signs up,
Did you?
and nobody's gone through it since.
Okay.
So
I
if you
know-
don't get anything, call me,
I'll call you.
we'll buy the signs,
Okay,
and
we'll see
we'll
what
figure
we
it out.
we'll see what we can do, Mark. Okay, thank you very much and thank you. I know you have a busy schedule.
Thanks, Mark. Josh, welcome.
How's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Any preference on? Oh yeah.
Oh,
Might need to be recycled in.
recycle, eh?
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Really? They do recycle, eh?
Sometimes I just find it works out perfect. So.
Right, use what we can.
So I figured just a basic department update on what we've been working on doing, what we have coming up. And that's just a brief outline, follow along, but I'll go over all this stuff. So right now, past couple weeks, we've just been really busy with cleanup, mulching, picking up trash, making the place look like a recycling center, not a dump right now. Coming out of winter, there's always stuff that's been buried, and the plow tracks over the grass, so we're raking all that up, getting everything cleaned up pretty good. Nick's work,
You've been burning.
slowly, but we're getting there. Slowly but surely. doing a lot of personnel training, working on our safety, and then New Hampshire BDS certification training, and Nick's been handling that whole thing. I believe we have 3 people that are all done for the year already, and then just a few of the people who don't work as much, we gotta get in there a little more to get some more hours in, but so far it's going pretty good. Currently we have 4 senior operators, step 5, so that's the top. Even some of the newer people, Luke, he's been working on he has a plan to hit 5 in 1 year. So that's 50 hours of training. I told him, go crazy if you want to. So we've got quite a bit of knowledge kicking around there right now, which is great. As you said,
open up opportunities for you with the extra knowledge? Does it give you an opportunity to do some things that you might not otherwise be able to do?
a little bit, more or less. It's kind of takes away some of the worry for me, so I can be out back all day long, not to worry about it, because everybody knows what they're doing. They can answer pretty much any question, and we always have radios on the front, but kind of helps to educate residents also, so as they come up to the window, they can justify why we can't do something or where something goes. So it's been really good on that aspect of it. And like you were saying, the brush pile, been doing quite a bit of burning. I looked at maybe burning that first pile in place, but once I dug into it, it's all compost and leaves on the inside. So if I was to burn that, it would burn for days as is, and would shoot up a lot of ash and smoke. So even if I had the fire departments be there, it would still shoot stuff up in the air, and I'd rather not send it everywhere. It just would create more work. So I've been digging out slowly and just taking the compost out, putting it down to that compost pile. And I put a woodshed down by the back gate, and I think I've filled it 5 times now, and people just keep taking it. So basically just chopping it up, manageable size, and for campfires, at house use. So they've been loving that, so it's been working out really well. Any questions so far, or I'm just motoring along? Next one is the wastewater operator certification. I've been pretty involved with that lately. Joe's been a huge help in supporting me with supporting Nick and I for getting training done and any questions related to it. I sat in on the composite jar testing for the phosphorus removal pilot program test with Underwood Engineers. That was cool to see how that all worked, and helped Kurt set up the composite sampler in the headworks. And it was taking a sample every hour for 24 hours. And then they separated that into 5 different jars, added different amounts of chemical to see what the actual flocculation of it was and how much solids it was actually grabbing.
Does that work?
Flocculation. It just basically cleans it together so it settles a little faster. So that was really interesting to see. And then I sat in April, I sat in on the webinar with the results of the pilot program. They discussed the amount of chemical we use, how we're going to use it, when and where. And so that should be starting, I think Joe was in last week, wasn't he? I think that's starting next couple weeks, I believe. So we're just getting prepped and getting a place for the chemicals to be stored for now, and then how we're going to pump it over to where it's going to be dropped into the headworks. And then I went and sat in on a solar array sidewalk with Joe, Kurt, and the solar array guy, and that was pretty interesting to see and how they're going to basically hook it all up and where it's going, how they're going to do it. So that was pretty informational.
Did they give you timing?
He said a couple weeks, I believe.
So by the end of May, it'll be operational.
I think that's what he was saying, yeah. They've got all their equipment set up there. I think they're just basically waiting on the panels to be delivered at this point. So, and then beginning of April, I had a phone call on a day off from the guy from the state, Candelas, and he was asking me questions about my certification, where I want to go with it, how it's going, my hours, and he wanted to set up a site walk with me, and so I talked to Joe first to make sure everything was good and if we should do it, and I thought it would be a good show of faith with the state just to show where I was and a couple more operators in there. Went pretty
Did
well.
Joe attend that with you?
Yep, yeah, so I was glad to have him there. It went pretty well.
Joe was very smart when you called him.
Yeah, I didn't want to do
Because
anything.
you could say something that occurred to Joe.
Exactly, so
That was good.
I'm pretty good about not over saying something, but on the same hand,
Yeah, and you,
just in
especially
case.
with them, you
Just
have
in
to.
case, so it was nice to have him there
Good
and
move.
support on that end.
Very good, I was glad to hear that.
It actually went really well. It was a little nerve-wracking because I got pretty much tested on the spot and had to give him a site walk around the whole plant, point stuff out, tell him what we're doing, why we're doing.
Right.
And right now I'm working on going through the 5,000 old files I have there that Scott has everything pretty much in cabinets, but now I'm just organizing it to get familiar with everything in there, all the engineering studies. There's stuff back to the early 80s, so I'm working on just to get a full picture of everything. I showed the two state guys that, explained why I was doing it, just to get a full grasp on everything. So they were pretty happy with it, but they want me to try and get 15 hours a week. Right now I'm doing 6 to 7, so it's kind of hard to get more than that there on a daily basis, just because sometimes it's an hour and a half a day and you're done. But other days it could be more, it could be 5, 6. So I've got
Is this something that they would like or something they're gonna require?
but
Have you talked with Joe about putting a plan in so we can
yep,
make that happen?
Yep, he's been really helpful with that. And it's difficult now because I have to have someone there to supervise me at all times. Nick and I both have to be certified. And I've got 194 hours out of the 225 done. And my cutoff for the 225 hours is June 6th. So I'm ahead of schedule. But I have, 31 hours left. And then once I'm out of the operator and training, OIT, I can do it on my own. So then, say, Saturdays, I can go do the testing, do some more filing, organizing. And so I think that's where I'm really going to get the bulk of my hours done. So once I hit that 31 hours, I can get my own. Nick can train with me. And anything to do with the plant, whether it's trimming trees or skimming the lagoon for trash that's floating, anything along those lines, organizing files. So it'll all count for hours, and
Where's Nick in the process?
he had his interview for his certification February 6th, I believe. And so his clock starts at February 6th of next year, and he's got 45 hours down. And so then, same thing, once I get mine done, he can come in and spend more time with me on the weekends there, say Sunday mornings. Sunday mornings we can go in, get 2-3 hours in, and then do our usual Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And it's brief during the week, so it's not too bad. And they also showed me some of the training that I can take online. Some of it will count for up to 90 hours, but it's a 800-page book. And so you have to order the test. You fail the test, you have to order it again. So I have 3 books right now, so that'll give me all the hours I need for that. And then they talk about wanting me to, I think he was talking December. He said he was going to come back in 6 months and touch base again, see where I'm at, go through that, meet with Nick also. So it'll be helpful, and it's good to have the face-to-face meeting with him, show him how we're actually doing. And he said even if I don't get my hours, that we could go for an exemption. But they want to be comfortable that I can do it on my own, so that's why he's going to come back, and so that might give me the grace period to be able to cut loose a little early. So I got a bunch of those trainings to do, and I think I've got a good chunk of the course work done. I've been skimming through, taking the in-book tests, stuff like that, and I've been doing pretty well on it, and fascinating stuff, so I'm more driven to want to learn more about it. And then me, Nick, and Kurt are going to Jacksonville first for water and fire chemical safety at the Jackson Fire Department, and that's 5 hours of training right there, so it'll be good. And I do already have enough hours to recertify next year already, so, and you can carry 10 hours over, so he said it's not going to hurt to just keep going and going, and works fine with me, so little hectic right now, but it'll all work out in the end, and just gotta get past this 31-hour point.
So the next 180 hours,
About that, yeah.
does he do that over the course of the year, or can he do that in a shorter time period? In other words, once you're off the OIT and he's working with you,
Yeah, so you could
you're
do.
both generating hours, so could that move more quickly for him, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Joe and I were talking about doing the same track that I'm doing tonight. That way he'll be up to speed quicker, and especially if I can get my grade 2 license next year, then I can technically be the backup OIRC, and so if Kurt goes on vacation, there's no issues with anything, the plant's covered. And then I'd have a backup, say I was sick while he was on vacation, Nick could slide into that, so should work out really well, and Kurt's been a great teacher. We got a lot of game plans there, so I think it'll work out really well. Any other questions on the wastewater portion?
All good.
We've started the 3 through 7 plastic pilot program. We haven't advertised it to residents just because we're trying to see how much we'll actually get, if it's worth it. The pricing stayed pretty steady right now. I think it's at 3 cents a pound revenue compared to paying 7 cents a pound cost in the compactors. We started it end of February and we're averaging about a bin every week and a half, and it's about 60, 70 pounds a bin. So we figure it'll probably be a couple months and we'll have a bale, and then we'll see how it actually bales up, because we don't want to say we want to sort these out if it's not going to work, one of those things.
When are we going to go public? I was thinking about it. I don't throw mine in, but I probably do about a third of the plastics are in the 3 to 7
Yeah.
range. So when would you go public with it?
Probably after that first bale, and then we'd have to find storage for it, and then how we're going to actually process it. Because right now we've got 2 cardboard compactors, and during the week we'll take one out and put aluminum in there or something else we're going to bale. And then we have 2 dedicated balers for the number 1 plastic's got its own, number 2 plastic has its own. And then, so that's the 4 balers we have right now. And there's not really space to stick another one in there right now either. So it might be one of those things where we might have to stockpile it for a little bit, bale it, take, say, Wednesday, go through, start baling it, finish it by Friday. And then we could probably use that spare shipping container that we've got our storage bins in and just start filling that with it. And it's actually shocking how much we're getting. It's just contamination. The number 5 yogurts or number 7 iced tea jugs, stuff like that. It's pretty shocking how much we've actually gotten. It's just contamination at this point.
Should I add to it with mine?
Go for it.
But it's right
Yeah,
over the top.
because we're picking it out anyways, but
Is that what you like? Seriously, because otherwise it's going in the dumpster.
yeah, I mean, you can toss in there.
If you're strategically planning to make a decision based on what goes in,
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to add mine.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all, because we sort it out as we go anyway, so we'll walk by, pick it out, then we've got the bin out back, so we'll just dump it in there. And then the last kind of issue with it's not an issue, but the next thing we're gonna have to figure out is window situation. That's probably gonna be the biggest thing where we're gonna put it in the line of recyclables. Because we're still trying to fix the tweaks in the glass windows just because it's so loud in there, and gonna have to figure something out. So I'm almost one of those things where you don't want to, because once I do it, I want to shift it so everything will be all at once without being a drastic change or having to change it again. So my first thoughts were to move the glass down to the cardboard windows and literally box it right in so it's kind of self-contained in there, and then have 2 windows for the glass, and then maybe the next window number one, and then the third one would be 3 through 7, and then more paper down on the other end of the building. So it's going to be a little tweaking and organizing, but I want to have a firm plan before I actually put it into action. That way, because it's going to, whatever we do, it's going to cause some sort of confusion. That's why having all the high certified staff will help tell people where to go, why we're doing it, the changes. So there's a lot to it, but I think it's gonna be very beneficial. it's definitely a big project, but once we get it all figured out, I think it'll be a good thing to have. And I'm not going to make a whole lot off it, but we're going to save not a lot of weight, but more volume, so we're going to be able to fit more in the compactors. Really just kind of tweak everything and make it as easy as possible for residents and staff, without overcomplicating it either. So it's a big task, but Nick's been pretty much heading that part of it, and I've just kind of been giving suggestions here and there. So once we get closer to that first bail, we're going to probably start making decisions on how we're going to roll it out and when we should roll it out, and really go from there with it. So give people an opportunity to see and get a new sign for it, shift some of the other windows. So I don't necessarily want to piecemeal it either. I'd rather do it all at once, have the window set up, and then start firing on all cylinders with it.
Just seeing from having walked back and forth,
Yeah.
the corrugated and the mix and the newsprint were sort of in line, and then all your plastics were in line.
Make it a little easier, yeah.
Yeah, because it would sort better, at least as a consumer.
Yeah, and that's been the beauty of observing over the past 2 years with the new layout. Because obviously cardboard's one of our bigger items, and so everybody's trying to get to that cardboard window, so it's full stop right at that first window. So I think pushing that down even to the other side of the center door, I think would make it a little more beneficial for residents, and then the parking, and it would all tie in together and really help stuff out. So it's a task, but we're rolling with it.
When's the striping coming in?
So we kind of caught between subbing that out or trying to find the time to do it.
You know you don't have the time.
I know. I just hate to spend the money if I don't have to.
Could you coordinate with Joe when he's doing the sidewalks and Matthews Road, and that'll be towards the latter part of the summer?
Yeah, that might work out. Because this morning, actually, John and Charlie have been on a tear with cleaning. Both the compactors, when they got swapped out last week, they sprayed them down, chipped all the nasty stuff off it, and then let it dry for the day, and then pushed it in with a Bobcat. And then today, John actually went through the whole drive-through area after the compactors. He took a leaf blower to everything, and then we washed it all down, get the dust out of there. So there's a lot of stuff on there, so we'd have to probably do that again before we paint. Just because I couldn't believe how much stuff actually came out of there. So. So that's all for the ongoing I have. And then for upcoming for the summer, the waste oil building replacement. I haven't really had time to dig into that, but I'm running out of time and I want to really dig into it before it gets too late in the year. So I've pretty much got the design and layout done. I need to talk to the DES about approval for it. I'm not sure if we're going to need to adjust our permit or not. With the construction for the drive-through and the overhang, they said it wasn't really necessary, but there's a lot of changes, so I thought we should do it anyway. So we got the permit approval last time for that, so I'm just going to double check. So if they said after that, I'm assuming we won't have to, but I might just do it anyways. It's a simple application, just verify your permit and go through it that way. And after that, I want to apply for the waste oil grant. Anything that deals with the waste oil, the state has up to a $2,000 grant program that you can apply for. And then planning board for approval, and then final step RFP, and then construction after that.
Will Adam and Stefan work with you on the application for planning board?
That'd be great. Yeah, I'll touch base with him next week about that. The other big item on the CIP this year was the purchase of a second skid steer.
The RFP, what are you going to do about that? You got that listed here for your waste oil. What's the timing on that?
I figure after I talked to the DS for approval, and then talk with Stefan about the planning board, just get all that together, because I need to talk with Chris about fine tuning it. Because I know the stronger the RFP, the better product you're going to get, and I'm not really sure with some of the specs on stuff and the fancy end of it, so I was just going to have Chris give me a hand of that and kind of spice it up a little bit, make sure everything looks good and up to spec for that. So,
Are there any modular units available?
I haven't really looked at that. I had started with, can't remember the name, but they have prefab buildings that they'll pretty much come and do it on site. But that would involve taking up the old foundation, the old pad, and then taking everything down. And I think it would be a better idea to leave the pad and just build up from there, so we're saving money on that end. We don't necessarily dig into whatever's underneath it. So it kind of saves a lot of problem and liability on that end. I think pretty much same idea.
Does it go right down to grade, or is there a block?
I think it's just a pad, to be honest.
So you might want to consider putting a couple of rows of block
Yeah,
to elevate it.
that's not a bad idea and kind of protect the size and everything, yeah. But for the most part, I'm picturing the same layout, except it's going to have 3 bays, so the 2 are going to be connected, and then the left bay is going to be for universal waste. So I'll open up some space in the warehouse where we could store 3 through 7 plastics. And it'll give us a little more wiggle room, so it'll have like light bulbs, universal waste, light bulbs, fluorescent bulbs, mercury containing devices, CFLs, so pretty much anything in that category. And then waste oil will have the 2 other bays, and 1 bay will be for all the empty and clean stuff, and then middle bay will be for filling and then full containers. So be able to just pull in straight instead of trying to wiggle around there and all that stuff. So that'll be huge to get that and be able to take some of that stuff out of the warehouse at this point. And then purchase of the second skid steer with a rock bucket instead of forks. New Hampshire the Beautiful has grants for $5,000 on these items, and we haven't got one in a couple years, and it's a justified need, so I think we have pretty good odds of getting it. This will give us an opportunity to really double up and get more stuff done quicker. So right now we were averaging about 1,000 hours a year just in operation of the Bobcat. We purchased it in 2022 with 4 hours on it. We're already at 2,800 hours, so it gets a lot of work. And like today, Nick loaded a cardboard trailer, and I wanted to work on the fire or brush pile, and can't really do anything till he's done. I had to pick up everything and get ready for the day, so could have really gotten a lot more done, but we still made $1,000.
CIP schedule?
Yes, yep, that and waste oil building. And like the rock bucket would be perfect for the compost pile, would be perfect for the brush pile, because then it'll pick up all the sticks and all the compost will just fall out, and we can pile that neatly, and we could burn it at that point as is, so. And then we won't have to worry about if we have a breakdown with our current one. It'll give us just a backup in case. So say we blew a hydraulic line last night, we wouldn't have been able to load the truck today. That would have pushed that back. It would have pushed our other shipment back, because we've got 3 shipments we're waiting on right now that could show up any day. And it's one of those things where you could get hit with a charge if you're not ready for it, whatever the charge might be. And then renting a skid steer is about $1,300 a week, so we'll avoid that cost. We do most of the maintenance in-house, pretty much anything except major repairs, cylinder repacking, stuff like that. It's a lot easier to have them come and just do it. But like if we were having come down for just an oil change and hydraulic swap, it would be $750 just for the truck to come. So that saves quite a bit on that end, where a simple oil change will cost us $100 maybe. So save quite a bit of money with that, and ensures the longevity of the machine. So we're going to get good use out of it with the second one. Hopefully it will offset, so we won't be putting as much hours on a single machine and kind of even it out both ways, so it really be beneficial, and then we'll be able to train another person to get in there, because right now it's Nick and I not fighting, but trying to see who can use it to get what done first. So that'll be nice to have another person to be able to hop in and say, Mold Pro comes with a load of cardboard, they can hop in and unload it and bring it in for processing. So then next item was painting lines, which we just talked about. Another thing we're working on, we have probably 75% of them done. Facility signs, so I think the main ones are compost, concrete, and metal. Both the burn pits have new signs now, both C&D containers have new signs. I ordered 5 new signs through the New Hampshire the Beautiful grant program, so we got 5 signs for free. And those are going to be based on burn pit, C&D, and they're going to be doubles of both, and then thank you for recycling for the back gate, so that'll help clean it up a little bit.
You've done well taking advantage of New Hampshire the Beautiful.
Yeah, and they're great, they're real helpful. We just got 10 cases of blue bags for roadside cleanup for free from them, so they're a really good organization. And then the next item is new front gate sign. This thing is dilapidated, falling apart, and I can't look at it anymore. I spent the winter making a bigger replica of any of the town signs, like say the highway department, where it's got the address on it, what it is. So I think I have an 8-foot version of that. Basically, somebody dropped off a sign with the same shape, so I just painted it green, put 97 Pine Street on it. And then the front gate sign now is just encased in old wood, so I'm going to pull that off, put it on there, and then basically concrete into metal posts, so it'll be lighter, cleaner. I think it'll look really good compared to what it is now. That's another thing where we could get a new actual front gate sign next year if we wanted to, and just swap it out, take it off the green sign and put a new one on, and that's free through New Hampshire the Beautiful also. We had a resident donate materials for a guard shack for Charlie and John. Donated, I think, $300 worth of good wood and materials, so just gotta find the time to get that, but got it stored away, and once I get the front gate sign out of the workshop, I'm gonna ship that over, put that in there. And by the looks of it, I've probably got enough to make 2. I think he overbought for us. We're very grateful for it. Because it's nice to have actual good wood instead of stuff and picking out the C&D bin, because I don't want to go buy wood when we get it all day long. So nice straight 2x4s, so that was very helpful. The last thing I just need to look for is 2 doors and a couple windows, which that won't be a problem to get. I've still got old siding from when they redid the building. I've got spare siding, so I can pretty much match the building with those. And I'm going to use the same thing to protect the propane tanks on the side. Just a simple lean-to to keep the snow from falling on the copper lines and avoiding that disaster. I noticed that it was the day after they installed it, we had snow, and then I saw the snow rolling on the roof. I was like, oh boy, I didn't see that one. So we got it covered right now, so we were good throughout the winter, but I don't want to leave it looking like that through next winter. So get that done by, hopefully by fall. It's kind of at the end of the list because it's not really important this time of year, but at least get it cleaned up, and then simply put a couple of bollards there just to protect them, and should be good. Then the next item, this kind of falls under the CIP for miscellaneous or back 40 cleanup. It's just rebuilding the glass bunker. I talked about it, I think, last year, but right now we're waiting for a shipment because we've been shipping our glass to Canada for cheaper. I think we're at 25 a ton compared to shipping it to King's 45 a ton. And the 25, there's no trucking with it, so it's a really good deal. We can get up to 30 tons in the truck, and then they just head for Ontario. So once we're scheduled to have a shipment within the next couple weeks, I've been waiting a couple weeks. It's been kind of a pain with the whole Canada thing, so But I'm shooting to have another shipment in July just to get rid of everything we've got there, and then I'm gonna order some blocks just to rebuild it, double story it so it hides it from the road. Then we can store more, and like right now we're at capacity and don't really know when they're coming, so it's kind of, we can't push it up anymore, so it'd be nice to have the second set of blocks to push that back. So that'll have to line up pretty good, get to know the shipment and then order the blocks, so then come in and just set them in place. And I believe last time I looked they were $50 for 4x4 blocks, so it's a good deal, and then you got a delivery charge, but it's a pretty good deal on those, and simple, they're 5,000 pounds I believe, so they're not going anywhere. Kind of another one I want to get done just before snow falls. I don't want to talk about that already, but it's been flying so far, is to repair the fence line and both gates. The front gate's kind of holding on right now. It's not falling, but the front roller, the bearing broke on it, so it's a simple fix. Just gotta get out there and then straighten the bottom so it doesn't keep rattling every time we open it. And then back gate's just a little broken on the bottom, so just gonna replace that instead of working on the whole fence line. I don't really see a need for that anymore. We can fix the vent areas, and I've got old fencing from the old waste oil building out back, so we've got enough fence and gates to do that on our own. And then the last thing is just shipping some material around, organizing, and that's just waiting on shipments when we ship out. Number one, plastics. Our next one, aluminum's coming up also. So we're setting up quite a bit of material and money right now, so it's going to be good when we ship out full loads, and then we can get a better understanding of when our next one's going to be, so we can start staging for that, watching the market, seeing where we're going to get the best pricing for it. So that has been going really well. And then for 2026, I had wanted to do it this year, but with all this stuff, I don't see when we're going to have the time, because this one's going to be even more involved than the plastic program, is the food waste diversion. Been doing a lot of research on it, but to implement it and get everything set up, I think it's just going to be too overwhelming this year. But if we can get ahead, then that'll jump up the list and get to that sooner. And then 2026, the other one was wastewater treatment operator certification test, and that was either December or June of next year. And then more outside organizing within for next year. That should be the final touches after 3 years of seeing how the facility is working as is, and got a pretty good read on how everything's going. So a few little tweaks we notice we can make, and hopefully I shoot for next year to have all that done, and we can get to some real meaningful stuff and research how we can take more out of the waste stream. So once we get some of these smaller items off our list, I think we'll really be able to start cruising and get more done. Then on the last page is our current conversion rates as of today. Again, we're sitting on probably 40 to 50 tons of recycling right now. That's ready to ship out between the different grades and different materials, so that number will go up once we ship that out. Right now it's just been more or less the MSW weight, so it's kind of conflating the number. It's not really showing a truer number right now. But as of now, we're at a 32.75 diversion rate, which is pretty good. I wanted to goal up, I think I said 40 to 45 this year, and I don't think we're going to have an issue getting that with how well everything's been going. Residents have been great about recycling. We haven't had really any issues, so still been doing some bag checks, but for the most part, I think we've got all the problem people out that weren't doing it right. So then below that is cost avoidance and revenues. Again, the recycling we're sitting on will push that number far up once we do get that out there. And the more we're recycling, the more we're avoiding. So
last year we talked about the diversion from one community to our community on Saturday afternoons.
yes, yep.
How are we doing with that?
That was along the lines of operating hours, right, that we were talking about. That might be a 2026 item. It's kind of hard to say. We've been busy, but normal busy, I'd say, on Saturdays. And we know 95% of the people we know are coming through. Kind of the hard one is contractors, I think, because you can't really, they say Partridge Berry Lane or wherever, unless you drive out there and see a work truck or a dumpster, can't really verify it, I guess. We do our best on that, but I think that's probably where we're going to see the most drop off, is people who can't make it to Keene with a trailer load of stuff on Saturday instead of coming to us at 3:30 instead of going to Keene by noon. So we have been working on it, and I did do a rough sketch for hours just to see what it would look like if we did do 7 more on a Saturday. We definitely have to open up a different day to kind of offset some of the hours and keep it roughly around 36 to 40 hours. But most towns around are anywhere from 30 to Keene, I think it's 50 something hours. So I did everybody in Cheshire County just to see what the actual ratio is, and sometimes we're 2 days a week for 15 hours total. So we definitely have the volume, but we need to be open at least 4 days minimum. So, and some of that would be, say, Wednesday morning. I don't see the need to open at 10 anymore. So we could do 7 to 5, 7 to 5, 7 to 5, 7 to 1 on Saturday. Something like that where we still keep it normal, but give people opportunity to get there before work, after work. A lot of people obviously don't work Saturdays, so that's kind of their key day to go, but
It's going to be a tough transition.
yeah, and that's why,
Josh.
yeah, so I want to get the recycling of it first and then make sure we get that all squared away. And
How are we doing with stickers?
good, I think I reordered a batch last fall, and I had 2,000 or something like that, so Town Hall's been giving out quite a bit, we've given out quite a bit. Yeah, we've got to be around 2,000 we've handed out at this point, so.
So if someone comes through without the sticker, we're checking.
Yep.
Periodically.
Yep, and especially our big day for that is Tire Amnesty Day. You drop off 4 car tags for free, and you have to have a sticker. That's part of the check sheet that I give them when they sit out there for that. So that's helpful at that day, but for the most part, we know 95% of the people who live in town that are coming in. And then you get people who are moving, so they don't know if they brought their stuff from their old house, they're out here, so it's kind of complicated on that end, but I think once we look at hours and then the more we can take out of the waste stream, it's going to be a whole combination of stuff that's going to line up to really even it all out and make sure we're doing the best we can with it, so. And then the last one is just a comparison from 2024 revenues to 2025 with the estimated revenues for this year, balance uncollected, and then percent left to collect. And that also ties in with all the recycling we're sitting on right now. So probably by end of July, we'll have a firm look at the year moving forward. We'll have everything shipped out by then. We'll be working on our second shipment for everything. And something like cardboard, we could be 6 shipments deep at that point. Right now we've got 2 down. Typically we do 10 a year, and we've got probably another half load, so it won't take long to start moving that and get to good revenue. And right now we've got probably close to 2 loads of aluminum. It's at roughly 78 cents a pound, and that I've already had ordered, so we're just waiting on the confirmation and the truck to come. So got quite a bit of stuff sitting on, and I think we're going to have a really good revenue year. I'm estimating 65,000. Last year we did 58,000. That was a good year, so I just want to see that going up and up and up. So the better we can do, the more money we can make on it. And I think we've got probably some of the best bales around, to be honest. Material-wise, it's clean. There's hardly any contamination. Like the #1 plastic, we used to ship to South Carolina, so truck down all the way there, and the trucking is included in the price, but we've been shipping it straight to the vendor in Canada, so we're getting the price over the place we were shipping down in South Carolina. But the issue with that is they have a much lower contamination rate. I think it's 1% of, say, 3 through 7 plastics. We have a 1% contamination rate in that, and then 0 for cardboard or dirt, trash, anything is 0. They'll ship it back to you or fine you. So we've been shipping straight to them, and they're happy with it. We're getting the good pricing, so it's been working out really good. Same thing with cardboard. We've been able to go to different vendors because we send pictures before we ship out, so the NRA will confirm it, send it to the vendor, and then they'll give us a price there. And it's been consistently great, so we haven't had any complaints with that. So everybody's been doing a great job on the inside. The residents have been helping out, so overall it's going really well, but always improving.
Good job.
Any questions? Or?
Yeah, so I have 2 questions. Is there a place where you can actually drop the 3 to 7 off right now during this pilot?
If you let somebody know, we can dump it for you, definitely. We just don't have a window right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I didn't know if there was a side place or whatever, and I would have contributed to that initial pilot layout.
Yeah, and I mean, I could probably even put a bin. I wouldn't want to put it outside because everything will go in there at that point, but I could definitely put a bin towards the garage door. That way somebody can just come and dump it.
I'll inquire with either you or Nick or something.
Yeah, because we've got the bin right next to the number 2 window right now. So if you just ask somebody, they'll dump it for you.
And then the other question is, are you looking for used windows?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd prefer actually.
And
used.
how many? 2, 4, 3?
Probably 2 or 4.
I'm going to have 3 windows. There's actually a 4th one, but one of them's cracked. So you don't want that one. But I have 3 windows that they might work out well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you dealt with Mike LaRoche just the other day
Yep.
with some siding.
Oh yeah.
I'll have him drop them off when they're being replaced.
Yeah.
And have it noted that they're there, and if they work for you, perfect. If not, just throw them in the contractor bid.
Yeah, that'd be great. Appreciate that.
So expect that probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, I got a little ways to go on those anyway, so I appreciate it.
Once you have those windows,
Yeah.
then you got it all.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be in good shape then.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
If you need labor, let me know. I'll come over when I saw an hour.
Yeah.
You might be surprised.
The skid steer, new, mine brand new.
Ideally, yeah, but if I do find a used one with low hours, that's not an issue.
The Bobcat, you bought that brand new, right?
Yep, 4 hours on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a rental from, the problem about those is typically the used ones are either from construction companies or
Right.
rentals.
Right.
We had a rental last year when we blew a hydraulic line, because that was under the motor,
Yeah.
way in there, and it's one of those one-time clips, so I just let them deal with that, because if that goes, then you're really going to screw more stuff up. But the rental we got was 450 hours, and oh my god, that was worse than anything I've seen.
Yeah.
There was no cooling in it.
What's the estimate cost of a new one?
Um,
Bobcat.
Probably 60, 65. And last time, I think, when we bought this one with the trade, ended up being 52. And you get a discount for paying upfront,
Yeah.
municipal discount.
Right.
So it'd probably be 60, 65 without any of that. Obviously, we won't have a trade in this time, but if we can get the $5,000 grant and then the municipal discount, then maybe 55, something like that. And the rock bucket, I think, is 3, and the forks are 1,500. So it'll probably be around 60 with everything. So, and then hopefully instead of every 5 years, it'll be every 7 to 10 years to
Correct.
replace them. So,
Sure.
and then that all goes with maintenance. You have to maintain them. That's the problem. That's the problem with the rentals, because
Sure.
we got 2 days into it, and it was a track skid steer, and the track was all screwed up. It wouldn't turn. And 450 hours, and we've got almost 2,800 hours, and it runs like a top. So
No.
Just gotta take care of them.
It's good. I'm a big fan of going here, to be honest with you. You're gonna get a lifespan and take care of our stuff, and
Yeah.
we might have a little problem, but sometimes you find clean stuff. And you
And,
could get lucky.
yeah, oh, well,
You
definitely.
still work.
Yeah, because then that'll save more money towards a glass punker.
Yeah.
Um,
Understand.
And then say there's a 200-hour one, which I've seen on there before, that would be something that,
Right.
but I'd want to go look at it, test drive it first. I wouldn't want to just blindly buy something like that.
Right. Good, Chase. Nice job.
Thank you.
Very nice job. Very impressive.
Yeah, very slowly.
Well,
Thank you for what you do.
yeah, does a really good job, Laurie.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Yep, have a good night.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
I missed something on the consent agenda that I'd like to pull back. It's the Grange Memorandum of Understanding. I just asked that we modify our approval of the consent agenda to pull that back and for us to discuss.
So we make a motion and remove.
Make a motion. Take from the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
You understand what we're trying to do? Is that, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. But the reason for that is that we've had some changes in people that were very instrumental that have moved on. And I think we should take a review and really go through what the memo originally stated, to see if anything has changed.
I did.
This is just a piece of information that we have to discuss at a later date. It involves Steve Biddle, Teresa, and Lee Dunham, the sexton. Apparently there's quite a few trust funds that have been set up, individual trust funds for people, for cemetery plot maintenance. And some of these have been ongoing for decades. And there was a time apparently when the town did not maintain the cemetery, so people were paying into it to have perpetual care, but now the town does maintain them. So there's not a lot of money in each of them, but there are enough that it's a tremendous time restriction or time consumption for the trustees of the trust funds as well as the finance department. So at this point, Lee is on vacation, and I think Teresa has a very good handle on it and could be ready either next week or the week after, once Lee gets back to talk with us.
Just one comment, a lot of those funds costing more in time to maintain than we're getting on investment side.
100% correct. Yep. I don't know enough about it to, I know enough to be dangerous at this point, so I better stop. But I was basically told that the goal is to stop new ones and stop. I don't know if you can stop money from coming in, but
We're probably looking for a way to roll them into another general fund that really can be used in a similar manner, but I don't know. There's some legal aspects that we have to figure out.
right.
And I do leave that up to Steve Ricks.
Well, you're still on.
As an alternate.
Yeah. We appreciate
We
it.
met today. We met last week.
Did you? How'd you like the new conference table?
That was nice. How'd you get the old one out?
That must have been something.
They took the legs off.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah. Be the only way. I don't know how they lifted it though.
They have at least 4 people there.
How did they?
I missed the map though, and
You missed what?
the map on the table.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Another, just a point of information, I had an extensive conversation today with Alan Treadwell, who's our IT provider through Twin Bridges, and they're working through the process of updating our systems and finding some things that don't necessarily make a lot of sense. So just to sum it up, he feels he'll have everything done within 2 weeks. So I asked him if he could give us a date, the week of the 12th, that we as a board could meet in public with Lori, Megan, and Christine, who's now handling the website, just so that we can to do with cybersecurity, although we won't discuss that, but the concept has a lot to do with that. So that'll be coming up. Jim, you wanted to discuss with regard to stipend with Lori and Michael Brantley?
Oh, yes. You're gonna need to contact Michael here and there, we all understand that. But I thought we could put some guidelines on there, you know, just so it isn't just,
Right.
you know, I'm open for suggestions, you know, what you think. Maybe it's too early to know where you're gonna be, because you have to get in there, I don't know, Robbie, but I want Michael and you to be on the same page. I want Michael to understand what it is too, so it isn't up in the air, it's just, you know, what you need him for. Because there is gonna be incidents that you're gonna have to say, what's this all about?
Yeah, I'm actually going to see him tomorrow,
Oh.
right before the town administrator luncheon. So I can chat with him about that and see what he's willing to give us, and
Yeah,
he'll be
and,
able to probably know what I'm going to need a little more help with.
yeah, just so the select board's on page with, you know, that we have a guideline on where's how much we're gonna use, and, you know, just so we know, so it's all clear, it's not confusing. Oh, you said I can just call him every day,
I know. I
Yeah,
told
you know.
him, he said I could call him anytime, and I'm like, you're going to be,
yes,
he never said that. He said, no.
yeah, so we need to definitely, so why don't we leave it off with this, why don't we let them discuss the plan, Laurie bring it back to us, and say, this is what I was hoping to get. Does that sound good with you guys?
What I've done, because I've stayed in touch with Michael, is when there's a question that I have, I'll say to him, I want you to bill us for this. And then once that's over and we talk about something else, his golf game or whatever, he's off the clock. But at least he has a clear direction. Or if it's just a call for something specific,
Right.
then I let him know right up front that I expect that we'll be billed for that.
Or I can put an hourglass on your desk, and when you're talking, say, Jimmy said I'm running out of sand. Yeah, so we'll have you do that, and then we'll bring it back up, and then you can say to us, this is what I'm hoping to get from Michael, and Michael's willing, and then you can clarify with Michael or Bill or whatever we do. Just so we're all on the same page about how much we're gonna use and how much we're gonna spend. Yeah, but when you think about it, if we do have a phone call away, it might save money in the long run versus you researching, instead of getting right to the answer. Now we're not spending money on research and all that, so it might pay for itself. That's what we're hoping.
You had a couple of follow-ups from last week.
Yeah, I spoke to Ashley Grossman, she said give her a week notice as far as the union. Richardson Park. I spoke to Eric and Chris, and they're apparently already doing that anyway, whenever there's a joint approval of whatever they go together. As Chris said, it has to do with fire, the fire department's going, it has to do with fire. It doesn't have to do with fire, he does it on his own, so they're all set there.
Okay, so those are both.
Yep.
Great, thank you. We have consideration of the Mountain View Cemetery tomb repair. Did people have an opportunity, well, we discussed it last week. So there's a motion in the packet. We have that.
I'd like to authorize Joe Russo to spend no more than $17.50 out of the cemetery expansion fund to make repairs for details provided.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And then we have this one here that Teresa kindly put together for us. It has to do with the new reception window, and they did start work on it today. This is what we approved last week, but this motion authorizes the expenditure.
Make a motion to authorize the expenditure of up to $1,500 for the town hall repairs, maintenance and improvement, expendable trust fund for the new reception window at town hall.
Second.
All in favor? As you know, we have this vehicle that was turned over to the town staff. from the police department, and it seems like every other week we're coming back asking for more money. So we now have, hopefully the last repair, which is for right front wheel bearing, and the request is for $316.80.
That's a pretty good deal. The last time I had it done on my Ranger, it cost me over $500.
Wow. We have the right
That's a good
vehicle.
deal.
Yeah. I'm not questioning that, it's just each week it
Well,
seems
with
like
a,
there's something
with a
else.
police vehicle that worked really hard and it's got a lot of miles, you're gonna come to this.
Sure.
It's gonna happen.
No, I think we agree with you. It'd be just nice to have it once, because then the next one we're gonna do is tires.
We could always get them a $60,000 one.
We could. Yeah, you talk to Steve about that when the group starts meeting late summer. Can we have that motion?
I make a motion to approve the additional necessary repairs for the code enforcement vehicle up to $320.
Second.
Do we need to know where that's coming from, or do you already have that?
It's coming out of the operating budget, you don't need to specify.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Let's see. Where did that get put? And Megan organized it beautifully, and of course I have no idea where it is.
What are you looking for?
It's very even color coded.
It is color coded. We have, we discussed hours of operation for the planning department. So we had some concerns that people were coming in and staff wasn't available. So we had our attorney draft language so that we now have coverage on a daily basis. I don't know where I put that. So anyway, if I come up with it before we close, that's it. Look at you. How did you get that? So this is office hours and organizational structure. As we work to improve the services we provide in town, it is imperative that the planning office serve the hours that town hall is open. The Board of Selectmen have provided directives stating starting May 1st, 2025, that the planning office, town planner, and assistant town planner will be in the office Monday through Friday during town hall hours. The only exception to this is where there was an agreement at the time of hire that an employee could work remotely. There will be no exceptions or negotiations going forward. Effective immediately, the assistant town planner will report to and be supervised by the town planner. And please sign an acknowledgement that you will receive. So that would go to the employees themselves. So, any discussion about that? Do you have a motion?
Move to approve the revised version of the planning office hours and those that is going structure now.
Second.
All in favor?
I just need one signed, right? We all have a copy.
Yeah, Mark will start. And we'll
All right.
shift it back.
So is only to make sure that there's coverage, at least somebody in town hall? Because I know sometimes the town planners are out looking at things on the road and so on and so forth.
We've reorganized the office. So at this point, the assistant town planner, the town planner, and code enforcement are all together in the office. So it's reasonable to anticipate that they would be there. We're also moving towards an appointment-based system that will go in place once the security door is put in. So the expectation is that people will make an appointment in advance. If someone comes in without an appointment, we have someone at the reception window that will determine if one of them are available. And if not, then they'll work with them to coordinate a meeting. But we think that this will go a long ways towards ensuring that there's someone there most of the time. But you're right, there could be a time when all three of them are out on a project.
Yeah, but I guess the answer was, yeah, you want to make sure there's at least somebody there for coverage.
Correct.
Right. Okay, that's the point I want to make.
No, I appreciate that. That's the goal.
How about me walking in as a planning board member to get a packet or a trustees meeting? It's just show my face and they'll...
By appointment.
No.
The security door will be locked, so you would have to be buzzed in.
Okay.
And that goes for the Board of Selectmen as well.
Right.
We should all be cognizant of the time and the effort that people are putting in and the disruption to their ability to do it and their work. And the other aspect is the concern we have for people just literally walking through that don't have any of it. We had someone last week that didn't know what building they were in.
Right.
And it can be kind of...
No, I think it's good, and I do recall that there'd be a buzzer on both sets of windows. So I guess as long as they recognize you and you state what your purpose is, I'm going to the trustees meeting, picking up a planning board packet, probably be fine, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that would be understandable. Some of it's going to be a little bit of a hiccup at the beginning, but we are... Currently, department heads have their mailboxes in the town clerk's office. We're going to switch that over to the tax collector's office where the person will be staffing the window so that they can just come in and get their mail or leave their mail or whatever. And we could certainly, that's a good idea, Mark, because we could certainly do the same thing with meeting packets. Yeah.
So I broke the code for the back door already, so.
I couldn't hear you.
I broke the code for the back door.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, I think a few people have figured that piece out.
So, this draft that when Alex sent emails out about this, right? I couldn't get the draft, and he claimed it was attached. I had Tracy try to help me, my son, so I had no way to get that draft. So, is this the draft?
My thought was that we could take this with us and bring it back next week.
Oh, okay. Because I had some questions.
I couldn't find it.
Oh, good. I thought I was the only one. I'm like, I'm not going to be ready for this. And I'm trying to jam it in my head right now, but I do have some things that I like to.
Sure.
Okay, so we ain't gonna make this in stone. Good job. I'm happy with that. So you had the same problem, huh?
Yeah.
I even emailed them and asked.
So, yeah. All right. Unless I've missed anything and there's anything else, we have one more shot at public input.
Take it easy on you.
Well, we appreciate your input tonight, so thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We have. Good night. I have several non-public.
See you tomorrow night, Jimmy.
What's that?
See Jimmy tomorrow night. Planning board.
Is it tomorrow night already?
Yeah. Impact fee, so we.
Warry's going for me.
Come in learn, Jimmy, come in learn.
Okay, Garrett, we're going to go into non-public.
This might be.
Make a motion to go